Dune Spice Wars is a new real-time strategy game with some classic, familiar UI and some 4X elements. After watching this video today, you will know everything you need to hop right into Dune Spice Wars. I have waited a long time for this game to release, and even featured it previously in a video for upcoming games this year. I'll be sure to link that in the video description below. Welcome to the Fried Industries Gaming channel. Today, we are going to be doing a condensed beginner's guide on your first 1 or 2 play sessions of Dune Spice Wars. Strap into your Ornithopters, because we are getting this video off the ground, starting right now. Getting straight into it, you will want to start by choosing a house to play. Created by the company responsible for Northgard, I did a full breakdown and took a look at this game a while back. Now that we are here, once you have the game loaded up, you'll see the basic benefits for each. House Atreides is more peaceful and has bonuses for diplomacy. Harkonnen has a very horde, orc, or vampire feel, and allows for the oppression ability and squeezing knowledge out of faction influences. Smugglers have a unique bounty option on Lancerod resolutions, and have an underground intel feature in opponent villages. The Fremen have a great military buff for supplies, currently at 30% daily, and seems to be a balanced option when having a racial thumper buff for worm riding and an alliance ability. We will see how these faction bonuses play out over time. I chose Smugglers for the first round, although they all seem very fun to be honest. I am also really loving the UI so far for this title. It isn't cluttered with seasons of content expansions and really is easy to digest. Next up is choosing a counselor. Counselors come next and they seem to have varying difficulties. I decided to choose the most appealing buff from the Smuggler's available counselors, so that's how my difficulty was determined for this playthrough that you'll see today. As this will be a personal decision, I'm not going to just recommend to select the easiest 2 counselors. After you choose your counselors, you'll be configuring your playthrough. This is actually quite straightforward here in this screen. I left the tutorial on in the hope that I could turn it off once I had seen enough of it later, and left the other settings on default. Just a heads up, whether you find this game challenging or not, I really can't say, but I can say that there's nothing wrong with the default settings or lower for the first go. And with that, it's time to start your game. Let's start with units and POIs, or outposts, for once you are in the game. In games like this, I like to start by getting a military presence queued as soon as possible. 2 is usually great to start with. I try to stay on the gas pedal when it comes to this with my workflow in my first session, so I'm learning to keep resources flowing from the get-go day 1. I'd recommend getting your scout on the surrounding area as well as a simultaneous priority as soon as you can, before you do anything else. On the top right of the screen, you'll see standard game speed options that can help you speed up the early game process if you are already comfortable with this or this style. The quicker you can get eyes on your neighbors, the quicker you can have an AI example of how they progress and react accordingly. Taking a village is pretty straightforward. I like to go for ranged units first, and didn't have to do really a lot of micromanagement early on with skirmishes. When you click the flag over a village to take control, it'll take some time, and you'll also need water and authority available to claim it. This brings us to tech progression. Everything so far seems a lot like riding a bike. So let's talk about the game's development tree. Your army's development is a critical focus here. Just as in games like Age of Empires or Total War games, your army is largely tied to you staying on this tree, and it doesn't disappoint for day 1 release. There are 4 branches. One branch focuses on command points, another diplomacy improvements, then village construction, and the 4th branch seems to focus on production improvements. And now for expansion workflow. Expansion requires a balance of a few resources and leveraging them during your ventures, starting with Solari, currency or gold. Plascrete, manpower, and fuel cells also become important as the playthrough progresses and you plan for expansion. Expect to keep an eye on standard upkeep of your armies, vehicles, etc. My first playthrough seems to really encourage sending out units early in the game, taking over territories. Your experience may vary here. That's fine though, might as well use them if they are nearby and costing me upkeep. Make sure to keep an eye out for a variety of resources as well. There are rare elements, energy sources, and minerals available beyond just spice. A quick note on Ornithopters, or the Scouts. I love Ornithopters. It's one of my favorite creations from Dune lore. So, I love how Dune Spice Wars implements these as Scouts, and you can just set them on auto recon. I find myself zooming in on them to see if the same differences between the Ornithopters exist as they do in the recent movie. Doesn't seem that way so far. Seriously though, if you haven't seen the movie, the various Ornithopters from different factions have different aesthetic designs. It's fascinating. Make sure that you put them on auto recon. Upgrades and managing affairs. Some of the main upgrades you'll encounter come in the form of upgrading your village buildings. This is split into economic, military, and statecraft upgrades. I really like the balances and choices available here. You start to really feel like your choices matter, because I'd love to build them all at once. After building a refinery as soon as possible, I'd recommend getting some defenses and resource production buildings going first, especially if you're starting with a diplomatic, intelligent faction like House Atreides. And beyond that, you can upgrade by increasing your militia, but if you aren't already constantly defending, I wouldn't go broke funding the upkeep for too much of this early on, since they are tied to the village. Maybe have some extra militia for villages that have spice immediately nearby or on borders with the Harkonnen, at least I ran into that. Just in case you missed it, before we move on, get refineries online as soon as possible in your playthrough. And now we get to the really good stuff, or the most dense stuff. Trading, espionage, and diplomacy. When it comes to trading, it seems as though the houses Atreides and Harkonnen seem to do the best, especially during the Landsraad boat sessions, at least in my experience so far. That's okay. I'm having fun learning about the smugglers from a lore perspective and to see what kind of economy I can get going with them. I plan to play them all of the houses that is. I do the same things in games like Age of Empires, for deeper insights into each faction. During the Landsraad, you can spend influence to influence the game, with trade-offs, exchange rates, power, etc. I love this and I am definitely a fan, and you can use it to hinder other factions. The Trading tab has all of the basic functionality you would really expect in a game like this, including trade value modifiers marked with arrows, if a particular faction has a demand or places a value on something that they need. This brings us to the espionage mechanic. This tab has agent slots for infiltration bonuses and focuses. It also includes further options for infiltration beyond just factions. You can even infiltrate the Landsraad Council itself, if you need those benefits for your playthrough. Counterintelligence options are intriguing to experiment with, but the meat of this UI tab is on the right, where you choose your espionage missions. You can queue these up with accrued intel as a resource and receive one-time bonuses per mission. Deploy your agents wisely when accruing intel early on in the game. You didn't think I forgot about spice harvesting, did you? When it comes to spice harvesting, keep an eye on your spice harvesters in the units section of the right side of the screen. If there is a spinning symbol, it's not harvesting anything, and be sure to get it back online. I have left auto recall on for now while learning the other operations. On the top left of the screen, you can use the purple and yellow vertical bar to adjust your spice to Solari production as well. For me, that wasn't immediately obvious, so just hover your mouse over the white diamond in the bar and drag it wherever you like. Be sure to keep an eye out for worms attacking your harvesters. Also, if you find yourself with extra manpower, you can actually spend this extra manpower not on military but by increasing the crew of your harvesters, thus increasing your production rates of each harvester. This wasn't meant to be an exhaustive, end-all be-all type guide. More like a calibration resource to help you organize your creativity, or whatever else it is that you can get from the video. Also, I'd like to share a bonus tip with you that I noticed on my first playthrough. If you stuck around this long, I think that you deserve a bonus. But before I do, I hope that you got some value out of this video today. Be sure to boop that like button if you think I earned it. They are free. Okay, bonus tip. When you are eventually in the tech progression menu, trying to understand why the tech progression is so fast and you have to keep coming back, go ahead and control-click on a couple of tech advancements you know that you'd like to research, and voila! You can return to what you were doing. When it comes to Dune Spice Wars, there is still more to cover, so be sure to check out my tiny channel before the algorithm swallows it up whole. Stay fresh, play how you want, how you can, with what's effective for your goals and schedule, and, most importantly, stay you. And see you on Dune, Arrakis. No, Dune.
What do you